How's it going, everyone? It's Monday, and it's Marshall. How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. I'm super late. Yo, we got Daskas in the chat. How you doing, man? Welcome, sir. So, yep, it's Moog One Monday, December 10th, 2018. And today, or tonight, actually, because it's about 10:30 here in the Mountain Time Zone, we're going to... I think what I want to do today is we're going to go into Ableton Live, and we're going to try and track some Moog One sounds and maybe layer in some V-Synth as well, some V-Synth GT. So I've been working a little bit on some. I've been trying to focus on trying to get some good bass patches out of the Moog One, and I think I've got kind of a cool one. I'll walk you through it, actually. Why don't I just spin around and talk you through. So this is classic bass and stuff, and basically what we have here is some classic sounding bass and stuff. Pretty cool, yeah? And then we'll have, that's the layer 1 is the bass. And 2 and 3 I have layered for kind of a trancey type lead sound. And also been working with the effects a little bit to try and get some better results. I think this is sounding much better. The one thing I do need to figure out is I'm going to hook up a couple extra cables to this thing so I can track separate outputs for different layers of the synth. But for today, we'll just leave this reverb on the bass, but if we turn that off, it would actually sound like this. I think that sounds pretty cool. But for right now, because I kind of want that on here. So this other part, I've got a split up to this F here. And then if we were to turn these off, so layer 2 sounds like this. And we'll turn that back on, turn layer 2 off, and layer 3 sounds like this. And when you put them together, you got this. And then what we're gonna do is something kind of like, let me get a beat going. Let's get a groove going. Hold on a second. So this is something that I tracked in Ableton already with the bass going. This is one of the issues right now that's a known bug. The Moog One, if you have layers and splits going, no matter what you play, if you play it back, it plays all the layers if they're all turned on, basically. So right now you're hearing this with everything, but what it should have is just the bass line. But we're gonna fix that by switching the MIDI channels here in just a minute. But also I wanted to just give you a taste. So we have this going. And then what we'll do is we'll also layer in some V-Synth. I'm screwing up because I can't play live very well, but anyway, that's kind of what the idea is for this, I think. So we'll layer this stuff up. So I guess first thing that we need to do is come back over to this, and we need to switch our MIDI channels. And to do that, oops, I'm screwing that up. We go into the global settings, hardware synth, I believe. Let's see if I can figure this out here. MIDI I/O, that's got to be it. So right now, MIDI channel in for all is channel 1. And there we go. So we switch this to per synth here, and we can leave synth 1 as MIDI channel 1, but let's change synths 2 and 3 to channel 2 for the input. Now the other thing that's kind of weird right now is with mine anyways, since I have to use the MIDI DIN connections, this for some reason does not always like to send the MIDI out. It'll work for like, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes after I first fire it up, but then it kind of stops responding and stops sending MIDI out. So what I'm going to have to do is use my controller over here for now, and we'll track this in here. But now, since we switched our MIDI channels, we should be able to play our Ableton loop here. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, so what we need to do now is create another MIDI track, since I don't have this individual outs going for the layers yet into any kind of mixing board, which I am going to figure out for next week. Yeah, so MIDI insert, and we can go MIDI from all. Let's see. MIDI 2, and we want this to go to Neo 5. That's the Moog One, I believe, and we'll test that out here right now. Okay, but then we need to send it to channel 2. Oops. And we'll go all channels and then out to MIDI 2. There we go. So I'm hearing one of the two synths. So we'll go back and look at that here. Oh, I have that on 3. There we go. That should work now. So that is working. Okay, cool. So now we should be able to do this the way we want to. So on this side, this will just go to channel 1. So if we come in here, and let's see. Let's turn that one off right now. Let's just record this in here. And auto. see, I don't want that actually. Yeah, I suck at playing. But that's alright. We'll just draw them in for right now. Do a dead mouse style. The timing sounds kind of weird to me. Oh, you know what? I think my lavalier died. My lavalier is dead. So sorry, I was trying to answer that question. You guys probably didn't even hear me. Yeah, so we got a question in the chat room here from Robert. Robert, yes, you can automate more than one lane. To do that, basically in Ableton, when you're in the envelope section, in this case, I'm concerned with the MIDI control, and you have all your MIDI CCs here, and all you would need to do is select the one for whichever specific. Oh, you know, how about I switch the view here? Sorry, guys, I'm falling apart here. It's getting late. So sorry. Yes, envelopes. My computer is being a dick right now. All right, here's all your MIDI CCs in here. Right now, I've added tracking to the modulation wheel, but you can select these different controllers here and add in individual modulation for each one of these. I think there's, what, 127 of these? It looks like 119, sorry. Yeah, you can multi-track your different layers of MIDI CC control in Ableton and control multiple parameters all at once. The issue I'm having right now is with the Moog One here, because we're only the only MIDI CC that really works right now is note on and off, pitch and bend, and I want to say that is it. I could be wrong. I don't recall what Moog had said about that specifically, but most of it's not implemented. So what I've been doing is routing filter control or some specific modulations over to the mod wheel, and then when I'm working in Ableton, I track them in here. So kind of like what we got here. And then if we go back over to our V-Synth, well, so yes, it's not about. So I am multi-tracking the Moog One. So I've got 2 layers firing on MIDI channel 2 and 1 on MIDI channel 1. I'm not sure how long you've been watching, but channel 1 I've got the bass line going. Channel 2 I've got the 2 layers which give us the kind of this sound here, this synthy sound that I'm playing very poorly. So because both of those layers are on MIDI channel 2, when I'm in my my MIDI section here, let me go to, oh yeah, you can see it here. So in the MIDI 2 section, I'm going to my Mio, which is the MIDI to USB interface that I'm using on the Moog One right now, sent to channel 2, and then within here, that's where I'm editing the envelope for MIDI channel 2. And you can select your different parameters within this here, and then, yeah, route them out. So like if I wanted to do pitch bend, let's just really screw with this for a demonstration. If I wanted to pitch bend this and have my, this is going to sound awful, and have my filter modulation going, you hear that? Yeah. So, but you could do that with any parameters and have them all playing back at the same time, which is really cool. What's up, Thor? He says, just wish Ableton recognized the parameters you wanted per lane really quick. They do, like, and if I had a synth going here that sent MIDI CC on all the front panels, the V-Synth is kind of a weird one because it uses SysX for some of the stuff, and that doesn't work. If I remember right, for that one they have a couple of extra controls that you can route stuff to. Anyway, the point is if you're noodling and doing stuff in real time, if they transmit MIDI CC and you're recording in Ableton, it should pick those changes up and track that stuff for you, supposedly. So again, if you're working on something that transmits MIDI CC and you're doing it in real time, Ableton should recognize the parameter and record those changes in real time. The only thing that sucks is if you wanting to draw those in, kind of like how I've been drawing in the mod wheel in here. Oops. And normally I would be doing stuff on the synth, but because of issues, I'm having to draw these in. But the thing that sucks is these are all, you can see it just says like generic controller 37, right? So like if you wanted to draw something specific in, you'd have to check out your user manual for whatever synth you're utilizing and figure out, oh, my filter cutoff is 72 or 73. I want to say like 71 or one of the 70s was pretty frequent with a lot of synths I had used back in the day for filter cutoff, for example, which is one that I use a lot for obviously trance and stuff. But yeah, then you have all these other ones. You don't know what they are, so you have to look it up in your manual. Well, what would be cool is if you could tell Ableton, oh, I got this synth, and it would just tell you, populate all that stuff. That would be super cool if they, like how Omnisphere is making a repository of like all these different synthesizer profiles, and you pick it, and you can control Omnisphere from that synth, and it would be kind of cool if Ableton had something like that. There's a lot of hardware synths that this would benefit greatly from just knowing what is what for MIDI CC from the DAW without having to dig your manual out. But anyway, like a CC library, yeah, exactly. That's perfect. That's pretty much what I was just recommending. But if we could get something like that, like built into Ableton or any other DAW, that would be really cool. So yeah, so the Moog One, I was a little concerned about bass. I was actually talking with the Damsky a little bit about kind of my thoughts on it, and I think it's a fantastic all-around synthesizer. The only thing I was kind of struggling with was getting some good bass, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I'm getting better results in some of my mono synths than the Moog One for bass, which is fine, but I spent some time on this yesterday, and I think that this little bass line here is pretty cool sounding. Obviously not the bad pitching. Oh, you know what's weird? This is probably this thing. I don't know. The unison is still kind of jacked. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But I think that's a good time to call it a night. I think I'm gonna save my progress here. I'm really wanting to get the Moog One utilized in a lot more tracks. So probably what we'll do is, and I'll probably start just working with this stuff in my normal schedule for right now until we get more Moog One updates. So we'll probably go back to just doing the Saturday stream. That'll actually give me some more time to do some produced content for the channel, which I desperately need to do. But yeah, we'll be trying to work this in and get some full tracks made with the Moog One. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah, Robert, I agree. Somebody should make that. This is a CC repository VST that you could just have some kind, or even like a Max for Live type thing. I wonder if that's something that can be done in Max for Live. Maybe a third party could source all the manuals and document all the CCs for at least like some of the most popular synths that are out there right now that people are using. That's an idea for somebody. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it an evening, though. Sorry for getting started late, but it's cool getting some work done. And again, probably Moog One Monday will be on hiatus until we get some more updates for the Moog One, and I'll be back on Saturday on my normal scheduled time, which I'm pretty consistent at starting those around 5 or 6 p.m. Mountain Time if anyone's interested in checking those out. Yeah, that's going to do it for me tonight, and hope to see you guys on the channel later on this week, or, well, I guess Saturday. So have a great week, and I'll be back.